Hey everybody, welcome back to the Renewed Homestead. I'm Ben, and this is a piece of black locust. What am I doing with it? Well, I pulled this out of the stream, and I'm glad I did, because for the last several weeks, and it almost seems unrelated, the last several weeks I have been in a beekeeping class. And I took it at the local community college, 40 bucks, money well invested. And while we were there, one of my teacher's former students sadly passed away, and his wife reached out and asked if any of his students needed beehives. So I jumped at the chance, and so did my buddy Travis. And so this evening we are going over to pick up our new beehives. Now, why the black locust? Well, obviously the bees need a secure platform to be mounted to. And so I am working feverishly to get this done, along with many other projects. But I have several of these. I'll cut these down to size. And if you can see right behind me here, see the horses up on the hill. They are not far from where I'm putting the beehives. And bees like to be in direct sun. Some people say they should have some shade. According to our teacher, get them in direct sun. And so they're going to be up on that hill, and just below it, right about there, is the path to the shop. So I don't want them being interrupted every time we go up to the shop, the tractor, cars, whatever. And while Denise appreciates bees and knows that they are very important and really are endangered more or less right now, she doesn't want anything to do with them. So I'm putting it up on the hill, and the fence is electrified for the horses. We will run electrification around the beehive, because there are bears in the area. And as they say, there are two kinds of beekeepers: those that have bear problems and those that don't know yet that they have bear problems. So we've got a lot of woods up behind us, and we know there are bears in there. So we'll get that all secured up. But let me take you up there, show you where I've got the bees, where they're going to be, where the bees will be. So be right back. To the shop. So from the house down, look at those blossoms on that apple tree. Anyway, up there is where the bees will be, a good distance away, not bug anybody or us bother them as they're doing their thing and we're doing ours. Now you're saying this is not dimensional lumber. You're right. And again, I mentioned black locust and pulling it out of the stream. I mentioned that for a reason. The stuff will not rot. It will be here for years and years, and probably, once this platform is in, probably outlast me. So that means it's got another, 70 years to go? Something like that. All right, let me bring you in for a close-up here, just to show you. I say these were pulled out of the creek, and you can still see some of the staples in here. These were used as fence posts for barbed wire fencing, and then, fell into the creek, rotted out. Or, well, I shouldn't say rotted out. That's exactly the point, is they're not rotting out. I mean, look at these things. These are still probably nearly as pointed as the day that they drove them in. And I think this fencing was probably put in, I don't know, 70, maybe even 100 years ago. I know, it's incredible. But up where they're going to be, they will be in drier dirt. So, like I say, probably outlast me another 70 years. I know, it's a running joke. Well, not a running joke. You know what? Let me tell you. My third great-grandfather was the oldest surviving member of the Boston Tea Party. He lived to be 114 years old. His picture is actually up in the museum in Boston. So Sam Kinison. Last names have changed since then, but his dad lived to be 117. So it was 114 and 117, or vice versa. But there's some long lineage in my family, and I haven't really talked about it, but my grandmother recently passed away, and she was a month away from being 99, and that's the other side of the family. So I plan on being around a while. I tell Denise I'm going to live to be 122, so I still have over 70 years to go. Not even midlife crisis yet. So let's get these cutting. The rain is threatening, and in 3.5 hours, Travis and I are heading up to get the bees. So I got work to do. It's the gorilla cart. Yeah, I'm still loving it. Even went for a ride this morning after unloading some hay. Drives the dogs bananas, though. All right, this looks like the spot. Now, I do want to take a moment. I'm gonna sit down here for a second. Pulling that gorilla cart up the hill is, So, there is a gathering of Homestead folks coming up, and there's a ticket price to join, and that community is great, and that's what we're working on with Billy and some of the other folks in the area, and like-minded people. And it takes us to the word prepper. When did prepper become a bad thing? I consider myself a prepper and have stores of, food and water and things like that. And my kids kind of joked about it. It's like, yeah, Dad, you got all this water and blah, 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 blah. Well, they kind of went, huh? When about a year ago, COVID hit and the grocery store shelves were empty. Denise and I did not have to run to the grocery store for anything. And I'm not saying that we had a year's worth of prime rib and things that we would enjoy eating all the time, but you know what? We wouldn't have gone hungry. The supply chain came back in and we were able to get stuff. But anyway, I digress. Prepper. What's the Boy Scout motto? Be prepared. Prepared prepper. And Zach over at the An American Homestead says, you take prepping to its logical conclusion, and you've got a homestead. So, but I was talking about this community and this gathering of folks that are going to be doing classes. And from what I understand, they are doing a beekeeping class. It's a 2-hour class, and it's going to run $240. That's the horse pooping right by us. Anyway, I took our bee class. It was a 7-week class. It was $40 at the community college. And I tell you what, they are 1-hour increments, and there is so much information that there is no way I would have absorbed that in 2 hours. And, education's great. I would not discourage anybody from taking it. But even in our class, some of the stuff we watched some YouTube videos because you can't always be hands-on. And even those, some of those were 20-minute videos. So I just want people to be smart with their money. I'm not saying don't take classes. I'm just saying look at your other options, because I would hate for somebody to be scrounging every nickel and penny, digging in the couch trying to come up with $200+ to take a 2-hour class when there are other options available. And I would really encourage you to look into those options. But anyway, that's my soapbox for the moment. Let's get this going and see if we can't get a nice level foundation, because I did have I have an empty beehive that I was given by another neighbor, and it was up here on cinder blocks, right? In fact, the blocks that the camera is sitting on right now came out later last night after the horses came back over to help us do a little bit of grazing around here, and it had been knocked over. They're very curious horses. They're cute. I love them. I love having them here. So it was not a problem. It didn't break anything. No big deal. But it just shows me that I need a more secure stand. Plus, I need to be able to rope it off with the electric wire, keep the bears out. So, all right, back to it. It's going to try to rain on us. And so one of the other considerations is the way it faces. So we're facing south, and I need to make sure I have room behind because you don't want to come up when you need to do any maintenance on your bees. You don't want to come up from the front, because with the sun behind you, you cast this shadow and you tend to alarm the bees because, oh, what's this big shadow? What's coming at us? And they go into protection mode. So if you got to do maintenance, come around behind, the sun in front of you, and work on them. You know, do whatever work you need to, and do it quickly so you don't disturb them as much as you can. So, all right, I gotta go get a mallet, and I've got to get a level so we make this look right from down below. Although with the slope and this being level, it's all gonna look kind of weird, I have a feeling. But anyway, I will be right back. Curious everybody else use mismatched gloves between worn out fingers and setting them down and forgetting where you set them. It's like always, right? While I'm at it, I do love Craftsman and their warranty, because that's not the first handle I've broken. All right, let's take a look and try not to step in horse poop. And like I say, it looks uneven because we're on such a slope. Yeah, the legs are a little out of kilter, but it's just the logs split into quarters and made into fence posts. So, but as you can see, it quickly drops off. There's an old phone pole right here. I assume that they had a light, or maybe it was just from the power line that they had run out to the greenhouses that used to be here. But anyway, yeah, from this angle it looks really wonky, but it's square, it's level, and it'll be secure for those bees. So 2 hours and counting, we'll go get the bees and put them in, and we'll record that and show you how that goes, because I haven't handled bees yet. Ought to be interesting. See you soon. Hi. Check it out. Check it out, Callie. Hi. She's the curious one. Next step, we gotta go get the bees. See you shortly. You can see behind me we've got apple trees in bloom, and I'll show you the dandelions, but I got to get suited up because the beehives are right there. Another thing my teacher said, especially if you're claustrophobic, there's a mask. It looks more like you're going to a duel, and he likes the wide brim, and I've got to agree. More space, you can see out the sides. I like this much better. He also said, talk to your bees. Your bees get to know you. They become adjusted to you and calm. My teacher was saying that they sell honey at a farmer's market, and actually I guess down, they have a little stand set up near their property, and he was out there, and a bee came up and buzzed him in the face a couple of times, basically let him know there was something wrong. And I guess he went up and checked the hives, and one of them had blown over in the wind, or something had happened to it. But the bee was telling him, hey, we need your help. So hopefully my bees will become as well adjusted to me as I am to them. They said too, if those bees are angry and there's any kind of gaps, they will find them. So long gloves, lots of elastic, lots of zippers and Velcro. So I think we're good. They should be pretty calm right now. So. And there is our bee syrup, our lid. And let's go up. And like I said, you can see all the dandelions coming up, all the apple blossoms. Take you up here, and we're gonna duck under this fence because it is charged because the horses are over here now. Yes, the horses are here. All right, we're gonna take that ratchet strap off, and we're gonna put the box from the other hive on it. I'll show you what I mean here, so that it has protection for the syrup for them. And that wire you're seeing around the perimeter here is not charged. It's just to keep the horses out because they are curious. And who can blame them? We're gonna move quickly because it is a little cooler out. But here's what I was talking about. I'm gonna take this empty box, other than the wasp in there, take this empty box, set it on top, and then we'll put the syrup in here so that they can get to it. As you can see, they're joining the combs in between. See? So let's put them back together here. Oops, forgot something. Sorry, kids. You always want to put things back in the order that you took them out in, so it doesn't confuse the bees. And there we have it. Let's see, we'll check on it later today. All right, it's been a couple of days and we had a freeze last night, so we've got the hive covered a little bit to keep them warm. But let's check back in and see how they're doing with their bee syrup. So we're going to take a peek in here. Oh, look at them all working. Oh, it's warm in there. You can see the bee syrup's only about half gone. Wiggle it just a little bit there, not to upset these guys. I'm going to close that back up real quick here because we don't want them to lose their heat. We are expecting another freeze tonight, so we'll keep them covered up. Of course, not the front because they've got to get ventilation and be able to get out. So about the bee syrup, I think I already mentioned it. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. 1 scoop of sugar to 1 scoop of water. Mix it up really well. Some people boil it. There's no reason to boil the water before putting it in. It just has to be hot enough to dissolve the sugar. And you can see they went through about half of that. And the reason we're doing that is It's still very early in the season, and obviously with freezes and so forth, that might kill off some of the flowers that they're depending on. And I know you saw a little bit earlier, the bees are coming back in with lots of pollen stuck to them, which is awesome. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the nectar is flowing for them to bring back and convert to honey. And we certainly don't want to stifle their growth in any way, shape, or form. So we put the bee syrup in there, and if they were needing it in tremendous amounts, obviously that jar would be a lot lower, and we would mix up some more. But it looks like we're doing really good. It is getting chilly out, and the sun's gone behind the clouds, so most of the workers have returned, I would assume. Hopefully they're not off looking for other places to live, but you could see when we opened it up they were doing very well. But all in all, this has been a fun project, and I hope that we can set up another hive here soon and have more bees, because I just do love looking around, and like our apple tree right there in bloom. I love seeing my bees working on my trees. This is, living the dream, right? And we'll be talking about those little gals a little later. Okay, thanks for tuning in, everybody. That's our new beehive and the work that goes into getting one set up. You can see them all buzzing around, but so far I have not been stung. But anyway, hope you learned a little something. Thanks for tuning in. Give us a thumbs up for sure, and subscribe if you haven't already. And we will see you on the next video. Be good to each other. God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.